Welcome to the weekly Wind Spirit card pull. And I'm Renee Barabal, the Practical Shaman. Wow, it looks like I got some sun today when I was out there at the San Diego Pride handing out multicolored keychains that I'd gotten for swag for my job at the treatment center. And, instead of identifying yourself as, what's your gender, what's your sexuality preference, because nowadays you have to be really careful about those things. I said, what color are you feeling today? And I had 6 colors to choose from. People were thrilled. And then I drove back to the desert, and it's time for the weekly Wind Spirit card pull. Okay. I don't know. I didn't have the cards with me. I was going to do it right there at the festival, but I guess I must have supposed to have been home. And look at how curly my hair is. That must be that San Diego seaside weather. And by the way, as I was coming back into the desert, I was going 101, 102. It's 113 out there. I should have stayed in San Diego where we're 77. But I'm a homebody. I like my home. So let's see what wind we're going to pull today. Uh-oh, I got 2. Wow. I wonder what it means when you get 2 cards. Well, we're going to go with 2 cards. So the first card I got was Nilchi, the Navajo Wind of Intuition, and it's about listening to your inner voice. And then the second card I got was Cardea. So this is Cardea, and Nilchi is the Roman facilitator of, she's the goddess of hinges. And so she opens what's shut and closes what's open. So my first impression of this is that we want to listen to our inner voice this week about choosing what doors to close and what doors to open, or if a door is closed, slam, boom in our face, then, to stop there and wait at that closed door and really go inside and figure out what it is that you might want to, where you might be wanting to open a new door. Or maybe it's about trusting your intuition to find out where that door is going to be opening for you. And so let's just look and see what the book says, because these come from the book Winds of Spirit, which not only was an Amazon bestseller, but it was a Nautilus Gold winner. And it's published by Hay House, in case this is your first time you're catching this. Hold on one second. And they're in alphabetical order in the back. So one way to use this book, if you do have the book, is just to spin it open to the back. And I closed it. Open it randomly to the back, and there's 32 winds back there, and you can pull one. So Nilchi, the Navajo Wind of Intuition, and this wind can be conjured up for inspiration, organization, or ritual, and to provide strength when needed. And then Cardea, call to Cardea to close doors on the past and to open doorways of new opportunity. And that's kind of an interesting experience that I just had. I was telling a friend that I was thinking that pride festivals and those kinds of things have really lost their luster for me. And first I was just thinking, oh my God, you're becoming an old biddy, and everyone running around is in their 20s and 30s. But it isn't so much that. It's just like when I saw somebody's shirt that said today the first Pride Festival was a riot. And because, I am in a different, not a different generation, but certainly a different age frame, that, I went, and when I was drinking, and 32 years ago, I quit drinking. So before that, when I was in New York City, I went to the Stonewall. I went to those places. I came out early. I was a pioneer in my life in so many ways. I was one of the first cooks in the kitchen. And I was at all of those marches on Washington. We had the Women's March and the Pride March and all of those times. And so now it's like a whole different thing. And what the whole experience is now is about this dissolving gender. And I think this dissolving gender is really a spiritual place that we're at in our life, where for some reason we thought, that it was this next 2,000 years of the feminine, but that was our construct of what feminine and masculine looked like. And really what's transpiring now is it has nothing to do with any of those original constructs. So how do you navigate this? Well, one good way is to go in with your intuition and say, okay, how does this all fit to me? You might be heterosexual, you may be gay, you may be transgender listening to this. You may think that this is just really far out into the future, but trust me, when I was there this weekend, mostly the children, 20, 30 years old children, were all about having the right to be whoever that they are in this expression of their consciousness. And I mean, for us spiritual seekers to think that, okay, this consciousness has now gone into gender, maybe that's the door that she's closing, so that it's no longer an issue about who you choose to, be in relationship to, but we're going to also close the door on that past of how we show up in this world as human beings. And I think it's a fascinating topic. So that aside, we're going to work this week on developing our intuition, and we're going to work on facilitating new changes. And I would just like to say that beginning Tuesday, I'm starting a Windwork Basics class, and it's a really nice group formed. And it's for anyone who really is ready to make change in their life. And the winds of change are blowing, but how are you using them to adapt your sail? Are you raising that sail so that it can catch the wind to take you where you want to go? Or, is your sail flapping in the breeze, like a sheet in the wind? And it's very, very practical. We're going to start with an assessment, and then we're going to move forward to doing things like, well, I was talking about the structure of gender and the structure of sexuality. We're going to create a wind altar because we want to be able to create a new spaciousness in our life for change. If that piques your interest at all, private message me. I still have a few slots left. We'll probably cap it at 20. So it's a smaller group, but it's filling up nicely. And open up your wings of spirit, because find out what Cardea is all about. Let's see if I'll give you just a little bit of Cardea. She swings the door of fate wide open when she arrives as the east wind. Be prepared to experience life anew while undergoing abrupt changes in your daily routine, habits, and rituals. As the goddess of hinges, Cardea stimulates and awakens the potential in your life by bringing unseen forces to the forefront and making them visible. All right, I'm going to invite you to make the wind one of those unseen forces in your life. Sami, I've been away all weekend. And let's see what Nilchi says. Can you see her? Come on, Sami. Come here. Poke your head in. Nilchi can arrive as a combative wind, provoking the exploration of new ideas. Now, for some of you, this whole idea that gender is a spiritual experience might be a whole new idea. Be open to the gifts, even those disguised as loss, arguments, or disruptions. If you experience difficulty receiving, become a stage actor. Study your lines and cues carefully, and Nilchi will guide you swiftly through uncharted landscapes. So what is that uncharted landscape for you? Well, let's call to the wind. And since we have two winds, you can call both when I blow that second wind whistle. On the first one, we always connect ourselves deep into the belly of the mother so that we're grounded. There's this shamanism and mental health group. And one of the questions today was, how do you stay grounded? And so for people struggling with mental health issues, one of these things is we experience some kind of trauma. And I'll say that because for years I didn't want to live in this body. In fact, I thought, well, this body is not aligned to who I am. And over time, as I healed, that changed. And that is, I must say, one experience that I have with so many young kids trying to express themselves as alternate genders is that, are you expressing yourself ideally as your consciousness, or is it in response to something else that you're uncomfortable in the world? And so for me, I think it was a little bit about both. But over the years, I'd really decided I was happy that I was a woman, and I'm glad I didn't have those choices when I was young, because I think it would have changed my life a lot. In any case, that was a side whack. I wonder what people are going to think about this wind pull this week. Well, it's hard to not have it when you've just been absorbed in it for 2 days. So then we're going to ground. Oh, I was saying in the mental health group is that I was telling somebody that you really need to stay grounded in your body. And especially if you're suffering from bipolar or any of the depressive symptoms of, and I'm not a therapist, so be careful. What I'm saying is, but I will say to be in your body is the only place that you can navigate this universe from, because this is our human experience, is to be in these bodies. And so as you're in this body, it's best to be in this body, fully embracing this body. And so I suggested to this person that if they felt like they weren't in their body, to jump up and down 10 times. Great exercise. All right, so we're going to ground to the earth, because I didn't want to go into the wind whistle with, in just a Facebook post. We're going to ground to the earth with the first wind breath. The second wind breath, let's call to Nilchi and Cardea, so that we will have intuition about what doors are open and what doors are closed. And then on the third one, we're going to put an energy bubble around ourselves, so that as we experience our intuition this week, we're in our safety bubble. And if doors are closing, they don't hit us in the butt on the way out. All right. So we'll be protected by that. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and listen to the wind. And as those roots go deep into the belly, feel yourself really, really connected. And I'm going to blow twice now, one to call in Nilchi and one to call in Cardea. The first one will be Nilchi. And now to Cardea. Ready to bust open some new doorways for you. And maybe one of those is this upcoming class and work with me. And then the third one is, let's put ourselves in an energy popo, an energy bubble. And my friend Ak always teaches me to zip up by pulling from my pelvic region, an energy field up from both sides, and zipping myself up that way. So zip yourself up. So as I zip up, I feel prepared for whatever door might open or close. And then I'm going to trust my intuition to know whether it's an opening or a closing, slamming in my face or pushing me through to the other side. And I would love to hear your feedback on this and the gender issue. So please feel free to comment. And also please pick up your copy of Winds of Spirit. I've made a deal with the winds that this book can get into the hands of 1 million people, and I need your help to do it. And share this work with your friends. Invite them to the Wind Clan. Invite them over to the Shaman's Cave, which is a weekly podcast that Sandra Ingerman and I do. And also, I'm going to encourage you, if you've been sitting around the Wind Clan for a while and haven't gotten active, you haven't partaken in our free Wednesday check-in or our community university on Thursday check-in, or jump in now. Jump in. And join me for the Wind Basic class that's just coming up. It's called Wind Work Basics 1. So it starts this week, and I hope to see you there.